This is the FRC Roundtable, coming to you all the way from Minnesota. Your host team 2052 Nightcrawler presents this weekly FRC gathering where FIRST robotics competition teams take cooperation off the field. Share your knowledge, give and get advice, solve a challenge, or celebrate what makes your team special. 3, 2, 1, go!
Welcome, everybody, to the FRC Sunday Night Roundtable. My name is Scott Davis. I am a mentor for Team 2052 Nightcrawler. And tonight we have a topic from our Northland Judge Advisors, Rachel and Jess. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourselves in a second, and we'll just hop right into the topic. But tonight we're going to be talking about Impact and Dean's List Awards. And before we go any further, there's one announcement I want to make. We are not going to be meeting next week because of the football game that's going to be on TV. And so we're going to skip next week, and then we'll come back the week after that with our next topic. And I don't think we have any other announcements for tonight. So with that, Jess, Rachel, please, the floor is yours. Take it away.
All right. Let me share my screen. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Rachel. I'm one of your senior judge advisors for the Northland region, along with Jess.
Hi, all. It's great to see you again. We did an award meeting before to go over the award process, and now we're back for Impact and Dean's List.
Yep. And these we said it straight from the files of FIRST. A lot of this information is literally copied and pasted from their website. So the goal here is to make sure that all of our teams submitting for the FIRST Impact and Dean's List Awards at our 7 regionals are prepared and have the opportunity to ask any questions. So we did a little bit of an intro, but again, both Jess and I are FIRST alums of the program and have volunteered for over 10 years, former FRC mentors. And we've both judged FIRST Impact Award, Dean's List, Team Attributes, Machine Attributes at regional districts and championships.
Okay, a little grounding before we start. Today's conversation is an opportunity to meet your judge advisors. Rachel and myself are here today, and we also have some judge advisors in the call. We're going to give you an overview on the FIRST Impact and Dean's List interview process and provide some resources for your teams to review. It is not an opportunity for individual or team feedback. It's not a time for general judging questions. We've already gone through that, and you can check out the Roundtable YouTube to find that. And we, as you all know, are in the Northland, so this is not district specific. We, as Northland judge advisors, will be talking about Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, which operate in the regional model. And this will be event-specific topics with the regional events. Okay. And as we mentioned, go back to episode 85 if you want to learn a bit about our demystifying the judging process.
All right. A little call for help. We need judges. So if you are an adult over 18, post high school, preferably over 21, we would love to have you as a judge at one of our events. So our key questions: do you like talking to students about their robot and their team accomplishments? Do you want to help make our event successful? Sign up to be a judge. We have our greatest need at Bluff County Regional, which is week 1, and followed by Granite City, which is week 6. So if you are new to the process, submit your application. We'll review it with our volunteer coordinators and put you in an event.
And if you're not sure where Bluff County is, that is Winona, and Granite City is St. Cloud.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Some common questions. How do I register? This can be via your First dashboard and our volunteer coordinators have put together a really nice how to register guide. Can I have a mentor or team affiliated adult be a judge? And the answer is yes. We'll note the conflict of interest, and you will not be interviewing your team or have any part in the conversations about your team. Will I have a better chance at winning if my mentor or team affiliated adult is in the room? No. I want to volunteer as a judge, but I don't see it listed. So in this case, select assign as needed and note judge in the comments, and your volunteer coordinator will reach out to you. And then we always get asked, how do I become a Dean's List or First Impact Judge? And for 2026, these roles are full. If you are interested, sign up as a regular Team Attributes, Machine Attributes judge, and then talk with your judge advisor and volunteer coordinator on site. And we'd love to talk you through the volunteer path on how to become a Dean's List or First Impact Judge. All right. So we're joined by some Northland JAs. So Jess and I can't be at every single event, especially since we have 3 events happening at once this year. So some of your JAs are on the call. So at Lake Superior, we have Bill and Jess. Northern Lights, we have Mike and Evelyn. And at Bluff County, myself and Rebecca. Week 2, Great Northern will be Mike and Jane. 10,000 Lakes, Jess and Ian. North Star, myself and Evelyn, and then finally rounding it out in Granite City, Ian and Mike.
The asterisks are your senior judge advisors. I will be up in Duluth, so even if it's Lake Superior or Northern Lights, I will be there to help for either. And here we go with the deadlines. We are currently February 1st. The first upcoming deadline is Dean's List. That will be on February 5th at 3 p.m. Eastern. And to submit that, you will have an adult award submitter, lead coach 1 or 2. And then Impact Award will be February 12th, 3 p.m. Eastern. And you can either do that as the student awards submitter or lead coach 1 or 2. Some notes. This is where we get a lot of questions. For teams, Dean's List, each team may nominate up to 2 students for this award, and each team will choose which one event to submit the 2 nominations for. So let's say I'm going to Bluff County and Granite City, and I want to nominate my students. I have to choose which event to nominate both my students at. So either they will be both at Bluff County or both at Granite City. If your team nominates 2 students, they'll both be at the same event. Dean's List reviewers and interviewers will pick 2 students from the event as the Dean's List finalist, and the students that are selected as Dean's List finalists will not interview at the first championship event. Compared to Impact, where each team will interview at every event that they attend. And if a team wins Impact at the regional event, they will not interview again at the regional level, but they will interview at the championship event.
So if you win week 1 in Duluth for First Impact Award, you will not re-interview. Say if you're going to Granite City, you will not re-interview at Granite City.
Another note, sibling teams. So these are teams that work together. They might be 2 teams at the same high school. If a sibling team plans to submit for First Impact Award, they should choose one of the following options. Either one team will submit for Impact, or each team can submit, but they have to have different submissions and presentations. Notes. Do judges at the event get to judge the Woody Flowers Finalist Award? No, this is judged prior by Woody Flowers Award winners offline. Do I need to submit Dean's List at the same event as Woody Flowers Finalist Award? No. Do I have to submit for both Dean's List and First Impact? No, you can submit for one or both. And then will the interview conditions, so room setup, internet, power, be the same at championship? No, expect a different room setup at championship. Internet and power availability are not guaranteed at any of your events.
All right, so let's start with Dean's List. So that we're going to talk specifically about the interview process here. So for Dean's List, these interviews are 6 to 10 minutes long. They're conducted in English. Students needing a translator or interpreter are given up to an additional 5 minutes. And keep in mind, this is a conversational interview, so there's no need to prepare any handouts or have a presentation. Judges aren't going to accept handouts that you give to them like a resume. You'll hear this multiple times tonight, but there is no recording, photos, or videos of any kind during the interviews. And for Dean's List, there's no feedback given. If you would like feedback, you can have one adult mentor who is welcome in the room as a silent observer, and they can give feedback later. The adult mentor, who's that silent observer, can't provide assistance during the interview. So specifically also for Dean's List, all nominees must have a signed consent and release form to be interviewed. So this can be done via the first dashboard or with paper registration at the event. And the Dean's List guide, which is linked down below, or if you just search Dean's List guide, walks through, how you can obtain the signed first consent and release form, or how you get it for the paper copy. If we don't have that, your judge advisor is going to check with pit admin. We'll come follow up with you in the pit to make sure that your student has a signed consent and release form. Otherwise, we are not allowed to interview you. So another thing you're going to hear over and over again tonight, check your interview time with your match schedule. So pit admin will make an announcement when interview times have been put out. Check your time with your match schedule. They will also have change request forms, which you can then switch with another team. And so in order to do that, you're going to need mentors from both teams that you want to switch with to sign off, and then that change request form from pit admin. Again, please review the Dean's List guide. This is helpful for both students and adult mentors who are submitting and writing the nomination. It goes through a lot of those back-end steps for the portal, as well as for students, some tips and tricks and some common interview questions that might be asked. And again, if you are a Dean's List finalist, say you're named at one of the Duluth events, you are not going to have an interview at the first championship.
Okay, and now the first Impact Award. So for your first Impact Award interview, you can have up to 3 student team members give your presentation. This presentation will be 12 minutes. The interview will be 12 minutes, presentation up to 7 minutes, including your setup, and a 5-minute Q&A plus additional time to not use during your 7-minute long presentation. Your interview will be in English. Teams using translators or an interpreter are given an additional 5 minutes and up to 2 minutes for presentation and 3 for the Q&A. Translator or interpreters do not count as a silent observer. Like Dean's List, you have the option to have an adult mentor as a silent observer. They cannot participate or help with the presentation or Q&A, but they can provide feedback to your team. We recommend that as a great way to receive feedback. There, like Dean's List, will be no recording, photos, or videos of any kind. And if you win at a regional, you will not be interviewed at the following regionals, but you will be interviewed at the first championship event. New this year, handouts. Teams wishing to submit the first impact documentation form, which is on the first website must do so with the essay. Rachel and I will reiterate this many, many chat times. Double check your links. We want to be able to see all of your information, but if we don't have access to it, so making sure it's accessible, we have the right privileges to view it, make sure, so it must be have public viewing, so Dropbox, Box, Google Drive only. And we really, really do encourage teams to have the form finalized a week before your event, so you give our judges enough time to review your documents. And then teams are allowed to leave handouts with judges after the interview. We recommend no larger than a 2-inch 3-ring binder or equivalent, and materials should go back no more than 3 seasons. And handouts will be returned at the end of the event. Pit admin will make a notice to teams, so you can come back and grab your handouts. And the first impact documentation form and handouts are optional.
All right, the first Impact Award video. The first Impact Award video is completely optional. It is not part of the judging process unless a team chooses to show the video during the interview. So if you choose to do this, please bring your own laptop, speakers, and as we said before, power and internet are not guaranteed, so make sure you have an offline way to be able to show that. Showing your video will count towards your presentation time as well. If you're chosen as the winner, JAs will screen the winner's video for appropriate content, and the winner's video will be shown during the award ceremony. Just like the documentation form, this must be submitted with the essay submission via a public URL link that's Dropbox, Box, or Google Drive. Please, please, please double check your links. There's really nothing more heartbreaking than us going to click on your link to send it to event staff and the link does not work. So you put all this time and energy, spend an extra few minutes to check that the link works. Similar to the documentation form, you don't need to populate this link before the submission deadline, so it can link to kind of an empty folder. But again, teams are encouraged to have the video finalized a week before the event. Feedback. So feedback for our first Impact Award is sent automatically 48 hours after the event. It will be emailed directly to Lead Coach 1 and Lead Coach 2. Excuse me. It's also viewable in your dashboard by the award submitter, Lead Coach 1 or Lead Coach 2. Check out the First Impact Award resource page for exact details on how to view this via your dashboard. All feedback is 2 to 3 questions. So number 1, an area team has an opportunity to improve. And number 2, something that really impressed the judges. And then teams have the opportunity to submit an optional 3rd question and some guidance around this question. This optional question should touch on a specific topic and it must stay on topic. So judges will not respond to questions outside the boundaries and guidelines of the First Impact Award. And we see these types of questions every year. They include things but not limited to, what do I need to do to win? What did we do that the winning team did? What didn't we do that the winning team did do? How does first pick the game? What are your thoughts and opinions on the games? Things like that. If you submit a question like this, your First Impact judges will just respond that they're not able to answer that question.
And there are examples of questions on the first website. And then some impact reminders. Check your time and match schedule. Pit admin will have the time request change forms. Usually the deadline to change your time is Thursday afternoon or an hour after match schedules are handed out, but listen for announcements from Pit admin because every event is different. And as Rachel said before, if you need to make a change, you'll need the team to fill out the switch form and have both of your mentors sign off and give that form to Pit Admin. And new this year, we have impact definitions. Here are some links to them. And don't limit yourself to resources for impact. There are other resources that other teams have published that are really helpful, and there are lots of resources online, but these are the official ones. So do some digging.
Yep. So again, this was all straight from the first website. We want to provide you with the exact information. This is not really tailored to the North End region. So with that, we'll open up to some questions. And just like our presentation last time, we have some pre-prepared. We have multiple this time, 2+ slides full of questions. So we can start with some of ours, or if anyone in the audience has a question to kick us off. Yes, Scott.
You, having been through this once with you folks already, I know that sometimes you decline to answer questions, so I'm not sure if you're willing to answer this one or not. I did not know, of course, I haven't been involved with our impact group on my team, but I didn't realize that you could show your impact video during the presentation. I know that you called that on your slide, but I wanted to highlight that because it was something that I was not aware of. My question to you is, does that happen a lot? Is that common, or are you going to decline to answer that?
It depends on the team. Some teams show it every year. Other teams show it only sometimes. So it's a personal preference how your team wants to use that interview time to share your story best.
Rachel, we got one question in the chat. I'll read it for you. The documentation form for the Impact Award says, attach pieces of documentation to this form in order of documentation ID. How should we do that if our team wants to submit a Google Drive link? If we don't use Google Drive link, should we just add screenshots and images to the bottom of the document?
Oh, that's a good one. I think either of those options would work. I haven't read anything that says you can't do either of those. So I don't want to limit you. I don't know if Jess, whatever way it makes sense for your team, if that's a link to a link, or like making a one big document, however your team organizes it, I think.
Mm-hmm. If you choose to do one big document, you can hyperlink to specific areas. That could be helpful. But as long as you give your judges for the Impact Award enough time to go through your documentation, you should be fine.
Great question. Michelle.
So we've been discussing this because I am working with 2052 and our students that are working on impact. And one of the questions that the students so we're actually creating, our plan is to create a link to the folder that has the document and all the supporting documentation within it. But one thing the students had asked was, are photos added to that beneficial besides like the screenshots and the documentation that they have? And that was one thing they were kind of asking about as far as adding photos of the events that they've hosted, for example.
I think that it's helpful personally when going through documentation to see it, especially if I'm in person. Just scrolling through, it's a lot quicker to see a photo and then go back and be like, oh, this actually interests me. Let's dig a little bit deeper into that.
Great, thank you.
We have another question in the chat. May we include videos in the Impact Award documentation?
Again, there is not a rule that says you can't. And if that's, you have a video recap vlog of an event, sure, link to it. Again, as long as the link is accessible, public, etc., and it works. Great questions. Keep them coming.
Rachel, I'll ask you one.
Yeah.
What if I want more feedback from impact judges?
Oh, yes, we get this every year. So the best way to get more feedback from impact judges, I should say, let me back up. Impact judges are only going to give you feedback on those 2 to 3 questions you submit. If you would like additional feedback, the best avenue you have is to have an adult silent observer in the room with you. And this is ideally a person who knows you, knows your team, knows the presentation, and has practiced with your team, so they can provide you with really relevant and specific feedback on what went well, what could improve, things you did well, things you might have forgotten to say. That is really your best avenue to get more feedback from your interview.
I will add on, there are many, many FRC teams that might be willing to go through and provide you feedback and go through your interview. So look for external resources out as well. Maybe a team is looking to share ideas and provide feedback, and that is totally okay.
I'll ask you a question. This is one of our top ones. How do I know if my student for Dean's List is going to be interviewed on the schedule? And what if I get there and they're not on the schedule? What should I do?
This sometimes happens because us judge advisors are human. Human error can happen, but also we might not see it in the first dashboard on our side. If you do not see your student on the list, talk to PIT admin. They will find your judge advisor. And if it is a mistake on the judge advisor's part that you are supposed to be on there, they will make sure that your student has a time to interview. We want to make sure everybody has a time. So we will make sure that that happens.
Yeah, we get this every year where we're chasing it down, and we have to contact headquarters to make sure we have all the stuff, and then we realize, oh, you're not in Duluth, you're in the Twin Cities, so don't feel bad if you need to ask. We want to make sure your students or your teams are interviewed. Yes, Scott.
Has there been any discussion about accommodations for students who may not feel safe traveling this year to a competition, but have already been submitted as the Dean's List candidate? Or perhaps for championships, it becomes a finalist at one of the regional events and has already decided they cannot go to championships because of AP exams, which start the day basically after we get back, and they don't want to take AP exams on zero sleep. Or again, maybe a safety thing. Is there any guidance, or has there been any discussions about those situations?
Go ahead, Jess.
I was going to say that our volunteer coordinators and regional director have been in conversations with Colin Fultz and the FRC team. They will provide any updates when we have it, but as judge advisors, we are based off of what we hear from headquarters.
And then for first championships, Dean's List students aren't re-interviewed at Houston, so you don't have to be there in person in order to have an interview. It's all done based on the essay and judge feedback.
And I'm going to correct something from before. We talked about videos in documentations. We have gotten an update that there will be no videos and documentation.
Oh, thank you.
So sorry about that.
Correction. All right. I can lump a few of these together. So how do I know where my judge room is? And can I see the inside of the interview room ahead of time?
If you want to see where your judge room is, go and talk to pit admin. At a lot of our events, there will be a sign up that says Dean's List room or Impact room. Or you can find your judge advisor and ask, just depending on safety and where the room is. We may or may not be able to take you there, but rest assured you will get to the right place for your interview. Okay, Rachel, can I bring a resume to my Dean's List interview?
Nope. No handouts are accepted for the Dean's List interview. It's a conversational interview. I will say, if you want to prepare a resume just as a brainstorming activity for you to think about what all of you've accomplished, go ahead, but we will not be taking any handouts for Dean's List. Jess, can I have a practice interview?
You can have a practice interview with your own team or with other teams, but our Dean's List or Impact judges or judge advisors will not be providing practice interviews.
And that goes for if I say I won in Duluth and now I'm at Great Northern Week 2, can I just get a practice interview for Impact to get ready for champs?
Nope. Now that you have won, you will not be interviewing again for championship, and the judges at those events will be focused on the teams that have applied and are still eligible. Rachel, is it okay to use note cards in the Impact room?
Yes, you can use note cards or any other aids you would like. Again, we really encourage teams to practice ahead of time, and there is no deduction or negative consequences of any kind if you do use note cards or any sort of aids to help during presentation. Let's see, we have one in the chat. For Dean's List, a prior winner talked about bringing examples of CAD, but it sounds like from your comments on resumes that nothing is accepted during these interviews. Just clarifying. Yes.
Yes. I guess we can go to the next page.
Great. Do I need to dress up for my interview?
Nope, you can come as you are. Some teams prefer to come dressed up for their Dean's List or Impact interview, but it is not accepted, and there is no difference based off of what you dress as.
We could group these together. I can tag team them. So what's the role of a mentor during the interview process?
The role of a mentor is a silent observer. You will be in the back of the room. Your students will not be able to see you, and you are there to just be quiet and listen, and then you can provide feedback for your team afterward.
What if I forgot to mention something and my adult mentor really, really wants to add it in because it's really important and we forgot?
Unfortunately, they are a silent observer. They will not be able to speak. And in those scenarios, I'd recommend practicing potentially what you want to say so you know potential ideas before going into the room. I need a chair or other accommodations for my first impact interview. Who should I tell and when?
Please alert PID admin to what the accommodation that you're going to need. So say you need a chair. I can't think of another example off the top of my head, but that's usually our most common one. And PID admin will then contact the right event staff to be able to provide that accommodation. And the sooner you let PID admin know, the better. It is really difficult to secure something 2 minutes before you go into the room versus Thursday or practice day when we have a little bit more time and flexibility. Can I still win the first impact award without handouts or a video or that impact documentation form? If I don't have those, can I still win?
Yes, those are all optional. So as long as you are comfortable bringing what you are bringing, there is nothing deducted or ineligibility based off of not having a video and not having that documentation. My match ran late and the field is running behind. What should I do? And I missed my interview.
All right. Well, the important thing to note is we will interview all teams or students. The best thing to do is if you realize if you're a driver and your match's schedule is running tight against your interview, please work with like PID admin and they'll contact the judge advisor and we can usually accommodate, or even on the spot, PID admin can help switch with two teams if you're standing right there, if that's the flexibility. We know that this happens, especially week 1 when we're trying to figure everything out on the field. So know that we will do our best to make sure that you're accommodated. But again, the sooner you can let someone know, the better. Similar to that, this was on the previous slide, but what happens if there's an extenuating circumstance like the weather? How will I know I'll still be interviewed?
This is very common at Duluth or Great Northern. Your regional director and event staff will reach out if there's an extenuating circumstance or weather, but rest assured, they will provide information on what will happen in those cases, but you will be interviewed.
Do I have to do a first impact award interview? Can I withdraw from a first impact award interview?
Yes, you can withdraw. You don't have to. This is an optional submitted award. So if you choose to submit and then you say, you know what, we don't want to interview here, or we don't want to interview at all, just let your judge advisors know so they're not expecting to see you. But there's no reason why you can't withdraw.
And then know if you do withdraw from the interview, you are also withdrawing from consideration for the award.
Can my mentors sit with the judges at the front of the room so they have a better view during impact or dean's list?
Nope. We have a chair set up for the silent adult observer. It's usually towards the back of the room. And it's done that way on purpose to help remind you that you're a silent observer. You're not there to help the students. We really want the students to be able to shine and tell the judges all their wonderful accomplishments. I think we hit all of those on here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, can I sit during my first impact award interview or presentation?
If you want to sit during your first impact award or dean's list presentation, first of all, Dean's List, you will be sitting. This will be a conversation. For impact, just think of it as this is a presentation. And if you want to sit and there are chairs, you can technically sit and there is a possibility, but we remind you that this is a presentation, so you are presenting yourself and your team the way that you'd like to come off as.
And if you need that accommodation, please let Pit Admin know so they can alert event staff to be able to help with that accommodation. I think we hit all the other ones. I can answer this one about my interview time doesn't work and no one will switch with me. What should I do? So we really hope that this doesn't happen. And if a team comes up to you asking to switch, please, we encourage you to remember gracious professionalism. And if it works for your team, to be accommodating and make the switch. If you've asked all the other teams and there's no one that's able to switch, that's when you can go to Pit Admin, call your judge advisor, and then we will work with teams and then our interview judges as well to make sure we find a time that will work for you.
And then, do non-Minnesota teams and students have a better chance of winning?
No, everyone has an equal chance at winning at every single event.
Are there any more questions from you all? I know we've gone through a lot so far.
Oh, we're getting another clarification. I will say we always have the judge manual up. It's very difficult with many screens going. So of another clarification further on videos as part of the impact documentation, photos are preferred. Videos or video links are not guaranteed to be clicked on or viewed by the judges. And again, those are all optional. So you do not need a video. You do not need the impact documentation form. You do not need to have handouts in order to win.
Or a video.
Yes, or a first impact or a video. I forgot to leave my materials with the judges. What should I do?
You can go to Pit Admin and let them know, or if your event has a runner, which is the person set up outside of the impact and Dean's List rooms, and they will provide it to your impact judges, or if you see your judge advisor, you can let them know as well, and they'll make sure that your impact judges get access.
Scott.
I believe this came up on the last call we did about judging last month, but I believe someone said that at one of the regionals last year, we only had 4 students submitted for the 2 Dean's List spots or winners. I'm curious if you can share how many Dean's List interviews there typically are. I know that the list is at Pit Admin, so I don't know that it's really a secret, but I don't know if you have any kind of feedback or info about how many interviews are typically done at a regional.
Yeah, it varies wildly by year and by event. So I've been at events where we've had 2 or 4 Dean's List candidates, and then the next year we have 20. So I have no way of telling you like, oh, you have a better chance in Duluth than St. Cloud. It truly depends on the year and which event and which teams are at which event.
And you have to remember that all of the event has access to seeing the list of how many Dean's List or impact teams have provided each year. So they might look at it and be like, oh, oh, only 4 teams submitted at this event. And then maybe the next year everybody is like, well, I know that event barely has any Dean's List candidates, and then everyone chooses their interview for that event. And then I'll add for Dean's List, because we did not clarify this, winners can be from the same team. Let's say you have 2 winners for Granite City. Those 2 winners can be from the same team. It just depends on who the best candidates are for the award.
And there is also no requirement that they have to be 2 boys, 2 girls, or divided along any sort of gender lines. That has never been a requirement. Go ahead. I was going to read the question from the chat.
I was as well. Celeste asked if a video can be finalized until 1 week before the event. Can the link be submitted or replaced? Just clarifying as well.
So the link that you put into the essay submission can't be changed. What we'd recommend you do is submit like a placeholder. So say you submit a link to a folder that's publicly available, and then you put the video in that folder, if that makes sense. And then just make sure that like that folder is accessible, and then your video within that folder is also accessible.
And then Tanya asked, if a team is from a state with districts, are they eligible for award submittals in regionals that they opt into?
They are not eligible for culture changing awards. So that would include
Impact.
Impact.
Or no.
Sorry, Impact.
Engineering Inspiration. And All-Star.
Well, we got rid of All-Star.
Or Inspiration. Rookie Inspiration?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they will submit for Dean's List in their own districts. The district process is much different than the regional process for Dean's List. Let's see. For providing judges with a binder of handouts during the Impact Award presentation, is there an approach that you feel is the most helpful for judges to find the information? Examples, sorting alphabetically by event, etc. Should the handouts include all the information in the documentation form?
There is no preferred way for organizing it. So it's really up to the team of what they think is most helpful. We see teams tab, we see teams do things alphabetically, date-wise. There are many, many different options, just based off of what you think would be easiest based off of your own team's story. And then should the handouts be include all the information in the documentation form. That is up to you. Your impact judges will have access to the documentation form beforehand. But if you feel like you really want to reiterate that information, feel free to put that in your binder or handouts.
Well, have we come to the end of all of the pre slide questions?
I think so.
Is there any other discussion that we want to have tonight? I mean, we do not have to go 90 minutes. I want to make sure everyone in the audience who's part of the call tonight has a chance to ask questions. But if we're out of judging things to talk about, we certainly can wrap up a little early. I know I would appreciate the time to catch up before I jump back into week 4 of build season. Anyone want to post one more question or a couple more questions before we call it an evening?
There are no dumb questions. We get questions throughout the whole event. If we went over something today and you forget about it, feel free to ask us many more times, because we want to just make sure that students and teams have the best experience at events.
Maybe this is a good opportunity to once again ask for more judges.
Yes, let me scroll back. If anyone joined late, we are in need of judges. So if you are over 18 post high school, preferably over 21, again, those are volunteer requirements from FIRST. They're not a Northland requirement. And you like talking with teams about the robot team accomplishments, and you really want to help make our events successful, please sign up to be a judge. Bluff County, which is in Winona, has our greatest need for judges, followed by Granite City, which is in St. Cloud, week 6. You can read all about what judges do on the FIRST website if you search for the volunteer role judge. And then I was just blanking, but register via the first dashboard. You can have a team at event. We will manage your conflict of interest accordingly. Another thing to note is you're not going to have a better chance of winning if you have a mentor in the room. It looks like we have a question. Jesse.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on what judge you are, but what is the time requirement? Is that just Friday, Saturday, or is it a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or just a Saturday, or what are you looking at?
Friday, Saturday, but there is the potential to just do Friday if we need enough judges.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. In terms of pre-event time commitment, all judges have to go through a judge training, which takes about an hour or so, and that's required before you get on site.
And it's online, right? It's
Yes.
asynchronous. It's not part of a scheduled training
Correct.
date or time.
Yep.
And all the documentation that FIRST provides about impact and Dean's List judging is online. You can search them on the FIRST website.
Yes, please default to what it says on the FIRST website. Just like the Q&A and the game manual updates, they do occasionally make a judge manual or a judge clarification. So anything on the FIRST website or the updates they come out will obviously supersede anything that is said on this call. Michelle.
I was going to ask, because I'm just curious, do you see a lot of students or a lot of mentor observers in the room? Or is that, I mean, like, how common is that, or uncommon is it, I guess, is my question.
I can take this. It's very common with impact.
Mm-hmm.
A lot less common with Dean's List.
Okay.
Since Dean's List is more conversational, sometimes students don't feel as comfortable having a mentor or coach or adult in the room with them, but they always have the opportunity to do it. But it's very common with impact and not as common with Dean's List.
I was going to say that kind of tracks with how our team has done it before. So, and I can say, I can vouch as a mentor that's been in the room for impact. It's super helpful, especially if your team is submitting twice into competitions, to observe, especially the first presentation, and be able to help the students on the feedback for the second one to grow even stronger. So it's definitely helpful.
You will get your impact feedback the week after your event, so you can use that to help you as well for your next event.
I know the answer to this question because I've heard this before, but I would appreciate you answering it anyway. Is let's say that I have a friend or a colleague who I think would make a good judge. How do I convince them they have the skills to do it?
We all have the skills to do it. As long as you're interested in talking to students, you don't have to have any prior first experience. You don't have to have any prior robotics experience, or you don't even have to be technical. There is a role for everyone, and judging is a great place to start. They can reach out, or you can, to your volunteer coordinator, and we can get them set up and provide them with all the information they need.
All right.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity. If you travel with a group of super fans or parents, have a few of them sign up to be a judge. We want to make sure all teams have the most amount of time with judges. So the more judges we have, the more time judges can spend with teams. So spread the word.
I think this is a great place to end, but I want to make one last final call here. Any final questions before we call it a night? Anyone? All right. Let's end it there. This was, once again, very helpful. We really appreciate you two coming on again. It's really great to have people coming on multiple times and sharing their knowledge and helping teams. So we, once again, Jess and Rachel, very much appreciate you taking the time tonight to give us some advice and make sure that we all are aware of what the rules are and guidelines and expectations.
And thank you all for showing up. And thank you to our other judge advisors and Dean's List and Impact Award judges for showing up as well. We really appreciate you all being here.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We will not, once again, in case you joined late, we are not going to have a roundtable next week because of a football game. So we will resume the week after that. And we have quite a few openings on our schedule. So I think we're clear out until I think maybe the end of February or very close to the end of February. But we really have a lot of holes after that. So one of the things I will pitch that we try to do, especially towards the end of the year when we're running out of robot things to do, to talk about, is we like to fill the remaining of our schedule with Get to Know My Team. So we've had multiple presentations of Get to Know Mythic, Binary Battalion, Centurions have done it as well. So if you want to share how your team operates, how you do fundraising, how you organize your leadership, how you choose drivers, anything and everything that makes your team unique, we'd love to have you sign up with a Get to Know My Team session. And that would be a great one. I'm also considering doing a CAD review after we get through and everybody gets their robots built and everybody has time to clean up their CAD. There's a lot of really interesting packaging problems this year with the robot. I think it would be great to have students come on and share the design considerations they took into account and how they were able to get their robot to do the things they made it do. So if you're a team that's interested in participating in something like that, if I can get 4 or 5 teams that want to kind of walk through their CAD and have students share their design stuff, please send me an email. You can just reply back to the FRC Roundtable email that I send out every week. Or you can send it to info@team2052.com. That'll also get to me as well as the other mentors on our team. And we can communicate and try to find a date for something like that. All right, everyone. Thank you once again to our presenters. Thank you for everyone who joined. And I hope to see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night.
That's it for this week's FRC Roundtable. Join us live all season long, every Sunday night. Visit the website at team2052.com/roundtable to sign up for weekly invites. In the meantime, keep building, keep learning, and we'll see you next week.